Now, elsewhere, the US and China have agreed on plans for a deal for the ownership of TikTok's American operation. The US Treasury Secretary said a framework agreement had been reached. This follows trade talks between both countries in Madrid. Well, the Chinese social media app was facing a ban in the US unless it could find a buyer for its operations in the country. Well, the agreement is set to be finalised in a phone call between President Trump and President Xi on Friday. Our North America business correspondent Michelle Fleury has the latest now from New York.
This is where dance videos and geopolitics collide. Now, speaking after the latest round of US-China trade talks in Madrid, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are expected to finalise a deal over TikTok when they speak together on Friday. Details of the agreement, well, they remain limited. Mr. Bessent wouldn't say who the US buyer might be for the Chinese-owned app that now boasts over 170 million American users, only that a breakthrough had been made.
The framework is for it to switch to US-controlled ownership. But again, I'm not going to get ahead of the leaders' call on Friday. We have a framework. They'll have to confirm the deal.
Congress, backed by a Supreme Court ruling, set a January deadline requiring ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, to sell the platform or face a nationwide ban. Now, Donald Trump has extended that deadline 3 times, and another extension is expected by Wednesday, or Americans could lose access to the video sharing app. Since the saga began, well, Microsoft has expressed interest in acquiring TikTok, but that fell apart. Walmart and Oracle also came close to buying the video sharing platform's US arm. If a deal does go ahead, it will bring an end to this long-running saga, but many national security experts remain sceptical. They question whether any deal at this point would truly address the core concerns that prompted congressional intervention in the first place.
Michelle Fleury there in New York. Some other stories we're following, and Japan's stock market has hit a fresh high in early trade on Tuesday, with the Nikkei 225 stock index breaking 45,000 for the first time in its history. Tokyo stocks have been rallying in the last week, buoyed by expectations of an interest rate cut in the US this week. Markets were closed on Monday in Japan for a holiday. And China has accused the US chipmaker Nvidia of breaking anti-monopoly laws. The news comes as China and the US are locked in trade talks in Madrid, with chips high on the agenda. The Chinese market regulator says it's initiated a preliminary probe into Nvidia's business practices. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called it poor timing. More on all those stories for you, bbc.com/business is where you will find them.